Men, it is time that we let that pain out. It's time that we stop holding on to these lies and these stories we've been told about holding our pain in, shoving that down, and making things work for ourselves. A lot of people, when they hold these things in, they end up letting it flood out all at once in the form of anger. I know I have, especially my first relationship. I built up so much and eventually just let it out because I was afraid to speak. I was afraid to share my pain with the person that I was dating. And this can happen in many areas of our life. When we hold that pain in, it floods out and we end up hurting people. You know the famous saying, hurt people hurt people? It is so true. When we are in the most pain, we let it out and project it onto other people. So stop holding in that pain. Let it out. Share your story. It is so important. I'm reading here on Google that men are 20 times more likely to die from suicide than anyone else. That is crazy. And I think part of that is because we've been told by society to hold everything in, to be a man, to stop being a pussy, stuff like that does not serve us. It no longer serves us. It never did serve us. And part of this is because parents grew up in a generation where you were told to just suck it up and hold it in, not say anything to please those around you. And they pass that on to their kids. And it's time for us to break those generational shackles and to unleash our pain and tell our story. And through our story and our pain, we can help encourage those people around us to do the same as well, while healing ourselves and helping heal everyone around us. When we make ourselves better and we heal ourselves, that actually improves everyone else around us as well. You've probably heard that saying that in order to help people, you have to help yourself. It is so true. You cannot help people when you yourself are broken. I know that without other people, without God, I wouldn't have gotten where I am. In 2022, 2023, I was at the end of a breakup. My heart was broken because it's the person that I truly ever felt that I loved ended it. And then I got into a fallback relationship that I had to eventually end pretty short after starting. And then 2 months later, she tells me she's pregnant. And that made, I already quit my job, was living on my own, running through my savings account, depressed, eating food every day, watching movies, playing video games sun up to sundown. I get told that news. I was super depressed. I went from being pro-life to pro-choice really quickly, which I never thought would happen. And I tried to do that alone. I isolated in my apartment. I love whitewater kayaking. I was right next to the Shenandoah and didn't kayak a single day. I was right down the street from friends that are super amazing, and they didn't know. They thought I was just out and about kayaking all the time when I was really isolating in my apartment, super depressed into myself. It's not easy to ask for help. If it was easy, I would have done it. But it wasn't, because I just wanted to be left alone and try to do it myself. But we cannot do it ourselves. We have to ask for help. We have to accept help when people offer it and be willing to speak about our pain. And we need to learn what that tolerance of our pain threshold is, because you can actually hurt yourself if you try to just let it all out at once. Some people can handle more pain than others. It's finding that window of tolerance so you don't actually re-traumatize yourself. For me, a lot of my trauma was I was molested when I was 12 by a 14-year-old man, and I felt a lot of shame and a lot of guilt and blame. I even questioned my sexuality a lot. And now I understand the pain might have not actually been the traumatic event itself, but not feeling like there's a safe place that I could actually share that trauma, which wasn't actually true, but it's how I perceived things. I didn't think I could go home and actually share that trauma with my parents. So it took 12 years and someone speaking up and sharing their story with me to actually go and share it with my parents. That's the power of sharing your story. It gives other people the courage to speak up and share theirs. If this person didn't share their story with me of what happened to them, I would have never spoken up to my parents and told them about it. I was given the courage by someone else. We cannot do anything alone. There's nothing in this world that we can accomplish by ourselves. We need our community, we need God, and we need our families. Not everyone has a household where they feel safe, where they can share those things with their parents. I know in the beginning, I did not feel like I could share and open up with my parents what happened to me. And part of that was because I didn't grow up in a household where we talked about our emotions, where we talked about these deep things, where my parents were open about their struggles and their kind of thing. And for the longest time, I actually built a lot of resentment towards them for that, which wasn't fair to them because, as I said earlier, older generations, they were told to shove it down. They never spoke about it. So I was expecting my parents to give something they were never given themselves. How's that fair? How can I expect someone to give what they don't have? It's not fair. It's not fair at all. That resentment was unfair. They were doing the best they knew how to do, and they still are. I am very grateful for my parents and everything that they have helped me through, have done for me, because a lot of what I'm doing, I would not be able to do without them providing for me and my mom and dad working their asses off while I go and learn, improve myself, dive into my journey of faith. So without that family, without my parents and that community, I would not be able to do what I am doing now, like speaking into a microphone. So it's super important to realize that we need other people. We cannot do it alone. And I know I've said this like 10 times, but that's because it is super important, and repetition is learning. So the more I say it, the more you're gonna get it in your mind and have it concreted into your brain. It's super important. We can't do anything alone. We have to have others, and that's what this community is about. It's about creating a brotherhood where we can unleash our pain and tell our story, to heal from it, to support each other, to give other people the courage to speak up and share their own, and to have these lifelong bonds and support systems. We need people who we can relate to, who have gone through similar pains, that can understand us, that can emphasize, that can feel empathy for us, that can sympathize with us, that can fight alongside us like a warrior in a war. We need people who have been through it, who are currently going through it, that we can lean on and carry this pain together. If we try to do it alone, it's kind of like pushing a boulder up a hill by yourself. Good luck. That boulder is going to eventually give into your weakness and run right over you, starting you back at the bottom. When we try to push that boulder up a hill together, it takes a lot of the weight off of ourselves so that we can push that boulder up the hill together to a place of healing. Ultimately, this is about creating love for ourselves and our communities. When we love ourselves, we make those people around us feel a lot better, and we can create and accomplish great things. We no longer will fear fear itself, and be able to go after those big goals, those big aspirations that we've always thought about, but we were too afraid to face. When we love ourselves, we're not looking for other people's validations. We're only looking for our own validation and validation from God. We're not looking to these other people to give that to us. When we look to other people to give us these things, we fail. As soon as it gets hard, we give up. I started over 15 different businesses, and the two reasons I failed. One, I was focused too much on money. I was focusing on money. Money is not something I value that much. Obviously, it is important. It's going to help us reach goals and help other people make an impact in other people's lives. But it shouldn't be the main driver. The main driver is to serve other people, and when I focused on money and not serving other people, I failed. As soon as something would get difficult, I would give up because I had no real drive, no real why. And the second reason was I was focusing on getting other people's validation. I was doing things because people would be like, yeah, good job, Nick, that's awesome. But as soon as I would get people hitting on me, I'd give up because I did not get that validation from myself and God to keep going. I was doing it for other people's attention, other people's validation, other people's acceptance. I wasn't doing something that was serving my greater good to make me a better person, so then I can serve others and create something that is super valuable for other people. It's super important that you focus on something that is above yourself and greater than yourself. When you focus on building something that is only for you and only benefits you, whether that's money or sex or something else, you're going to give up when it gets hard. So it's important to have those reasons why that are greater than yourself. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday and crush it this week. Really work on sharing your pain and finding those communities where you feel safe to do so.